All right, I hope everybody is doing well. It's beginning of the week. It's Monday. I hope your week is starting off strong. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over an article, or excuse me, a YouTuber that I follow. That he's got some pretty good stuff. So it's called the Account Ninja. I encourage you to please take a look. If you like what we're talking about. But he's going to go over this article in oilprice.com, and I'm just going to give my two thoughts as he goes through it. So right now the background is he's at like basically an electric everything show. I mean, there's a John Deere giant, huge tractor there that is completely battery powered. Everything from John Deere to subways systems to even Coke can dispensers that are electric and move around. So that's the scenario in this, and he's going to go into the article. I'm going to follow with him.
Let me explain this story here. Let's dive into the story. All right, Saudis will not let oil stay at $75. This comes from the Pioneer CEO. OPEC is likely to cut oil production again, Pioneer Natural Resources CEO said at a Goldman Sachs conference in Miami on Thursday. Saudi is not going to let Brent stay around $75 a barrel, Scott Sheffield said, adding that it wouldn't surprise him if they had another cut. Well, that's interesting. Sheffield believes that oil futures will stay in backwardation going forward because there's no liquidity in the market. No one is hedging, Sheffield said. So there's nothing to bring up the forward prices. Now stick with me because I guarantee you're like, wait a minute, Ninja, it doesn't sound like you're going down the direction we thought you were going down. Stand by. As for where Pioneer's CEO sees oil headed, Sheffield sees the $80 a barrel mark as the base, with an upside of $150. Now you think about it and you're going, well, wait a minute, hold on now. If we're seeing oil prices coming down because of a lack of demand or slowing demand, why would that happen? I'm going to explain that in a second. Now this is my theory, but I got to be honest with you. I think I'm going to be right on this one. Back in the United States, Sheffield sees production from U.S. shale's most prolific basin, the Permian, eventually hitting 7 million barrels per day. But after reaching this volume, it will plateau, with only Chevron, Pioneer, and Conoco having the ability to produce upwards of 1 million barrels a day of oil equivalent in the Permian by 2030. This, however, will be achieved with flat or declining rig counts as services prices run at what Sheffield feels is an untenable high. Let me stop right there and add something. Saudi Arabia does not want to sell its oil, or OPEC, any of the OPEC nations for that matter of fact, at the current price. They want to sell it at a higher price. So how do they get it there? There's all kinds of ways. You can spin a narrative. You could push people into a fear that they're going to be seeing higher price in the future and get them to bid up the price in the futures market. You could use, like I said, narratives from catastrophes, right? But the big thing is limiting the amount of oil that comes out of the ground. And Saudi Arabia and the OPEC nations know this far too well. And it seems like every time the oil price and consequently the gas and diesel prices push up really strong, and then everybody starts screaming and yelling about it, then they back off a little bit. But the problem is then it makes a base and then it goes higher. You see, over the last 20, 30, even 50 years, gasoline and diesel have been on a steady upward trajectory with the destroyed fiat currency. Actually, it's not even the US dollar. It's any currency that's being denominated, the gasoline, whatever currency is being denominated, over time they're being destroyed. The purchasing power of your currency is being destroyed. The fact of the matter is a gallon of gasoline in downtown Los Angeles in 1999, at its low, was 99 cents a gallon. Literally just a little bit over 20 years ago, less than $1 in Los Angeles, California. And you go, what has happened to the currency, the purchasing power? Now, a price of a barrel of oil was also much less back then. But you look at the percentage basis and the rate of rise, it's not just the price of a barrel of oil that's going up that's causing these prices in oil or the gasoline and diesel keep going up. It's the destruction of the fiat currency. Now, you look at all of this technology out here and you gotta ask yourself, what is going to push people to buy these pieces of equipment? I mean, just think about it. Buying a new semi-truck like this one right behind me is one thing, but a whole thing all together, because everybody here, they talk about all the benefits. They go, oh, there's no filters to change out. The maintenance is almost nothing. Yeah, almost nothing. You want to know why? Well, batteries have a shelf life. And when you go to replace those, holy cow. But what's the sales pitch there? The sales pitch is like, well, this is how much they are right now, the batteries. But in the future, with technological advancements, they're going to be much cheaper. Well, I'll tell you what, that same exact sales pitch was given to many people that bought a Tesla, brand new, years and years ago, and then when they went to go and replace the batteries, they're getting the shock of their life. I've heard crazy, crazy amounts. If you guys have had a Tesla or a Prius and you've had to change out the batteries, let me know what you think in the comments. As a matter of fact, I bought a car a little while ago, and it was a hybrid. And the reason why I bought this particular hybrid is because it was a Hyundai, and it had lifetime replacement set up on the battery, but only for the original owner. Now, the fact of the matter is, I keep my vehicles a long time. I baby them, I own them. But the company knows that very, very few people will ever do that. Now, you want to talk about an advancement. What about a company that sells a truck like this, that massive battery pack, that sits there and goes, hey, if you're the original owner, we'll warranty the batteries for life. Now, if that was the case, we would see companies, trucking companies hand over fist jumping on this, right? But we don't see that, because the truth is, in this industry, the companies making these vehicles know that the companies that would buy them would hold on to them and would expect or demand that battery warranty. So the truth is, what is going to force companies into this technology? Because it's super expensive. It has a lot of limitations, like we've just seen with all of the Teslas and the other battery-powered vehicles that couldn't charge well in extreme cold conditions, right? Because under extreme cold, it's harder for these batteries to hold a charge. They lose it faster. It's going to be the price of oil. And I believe that you are going to see that $150 barrel of oil. Now, I don't believe it's going to happen in 2023, but I would be shocked, honestly shocked, if we did not close out this year well above $100 to $110 a barrel. And if you think about it, we've had a little bit of a reprieve over the last, 4 or 5 months in the price of oil, the price of diesel, the price of gasoline. And it almost seems like the public is very confused. They go into this sleep, like they just go, we're good now. And they have no idea that around the corner is that next upswing. And I believe that next upswing in oil and gasoline and diesel is going to be right in the tide of the springtime, pushing into peak driving season. And that's going to have a whole lot of narratives along with it. Guys, I hope you got something.
Yep. And so I agree and disagree with them a little bit, but we're on the same track. So I'm of the mindset with everyone I'm talking to in the industry that there is a possibility that oil could hit $150 this year in 2023. It is a possibility. Probability-wise, it feels like a coin toss. But if oil only hits 100, 110 and stays there for a long time, I'm happy. I'm happy with it because I am making a ton back on that. But I think he hit it right on the money where he said consumers, they're having a reprieve. In the average consumer's mind, they're like, okay, it's a $70, $80 a barrel. Gas price is a little bit cheaper. It's just going to be that way forever. And the answer is no, it's not. Like, it is artificially being pushed down by, kind of like you said, by narratives with like, hey, China's been locked down. Now they're opening up and people are moving. And then, they all got COVID, so they're not technically locked down, but people aren't moving, Once that happens, oil's going to go up. I even heard somebody say, hey, if you're in the U.S. or maybe possibly Europe and you're listening to this, in 2022, sometime you were probably let out of your pandemic cage, right? You just let free to go. And then what did you do? Well, you didn't order a bunch of stuff off Amazon or the Amazon-like store, right, to get shipped to you. You said, hey, I've been in a cage. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go travel. We're going to have some fun. It doesn't matter the cost, right? In 2022, the prices of flights, of hotels, VRBOs, Airbnbs, all that stuff was extremely high. I was still operating a bunch of Airbnbs at the time, and we just raised our prices, and people just paid it, man. It was nice. And then after that big summer season, the opposite hits and things go down a little bit, but China is probably going to open up. It's already opened up. The people probably start to travel a ton. And again, China is about 15% of the world, give or take, right? They have a huge population, so they're going to probably start to travel a lot because they've been locked out for almost 3 years now, right? They've had one of the harshest lockdowns in the world. And so once they get out, they get the bugs out, everything's good, they're probably going to start traveling. It's going to use a lot of oil and gas. Regardless, the principles, I don't know the foundation, but the technicals of oil and gas are everything set to go upward. It's going to have some down crashes. A lot of people are saying it may hit 65 for a short time, right? And it's going to bounce and go up. My point is this: is oil has a long way to go up, and it's got a very good steady way to go up. That's why I'm listing it, and my plan is to divest when it hits about 150, give or take, and then take advantage of what other sectors of the economy that are in distress, like housing, right? Maybe some stocks, we'll see, but definitely housing is one that I really, really enjoy and I look forward to buying. So if this resonates with you, or if interest you piques your interest, like James, hey, this is a great idea. How do I get in on this? Contact me and I will talk you through it, and we'll see if we can partner together on some good stuff, right? Other than that, I will let you go. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday.